Hello, race fans. Dresden here. It's Wednesday night with CCRL, the Cheek Clappers, and it is the final race of season two. We have been through the ups and downs. It's been a very, very long season, but tonight it finally comes to a close here in Brazil. We've got a long night ahead of us. We've got full qualifying, 100% race, and man, I couldn't ask for more. It's been about a week and a half since we've been in here to watch a race, and I just like I'm hungry. I'm ready for a big meal of racing. How about you, Trackside?
Yeah, I'll take full responsibility for that. I've been a little under the weather, so yeah, we haven't had the stream up, but we're back tonight, and hopefully to fill all of your stomachs for the week because uh, the Italian Grand Prix has been canceled for weather. So this is your racing this week, people. So
Yeah. Yeah, did you see all those
oh my
pictures? Like all the
gosh,
flooding. It's pretty crazy out
yeah.
there.
Finally a
Yeah,
chance
so
to
man, so
fit those wets, and they're gonna move on. So we finally got enough
I
water to
mean,
use the wet tire.
they're not gonna they're not gonna need tires, they're gonna need rudders. It was pretty
Yeah,
bad. So it is the final race of the Elite Tier Season 2 night, and it has been a long journey. But we announced it, I think, last 2 weeks ago. Leipzig would take victory for the combined standings between Season 1 and Season 2. The Season 2.1 standings is still pretty close between Leipzig and Z Milk. But at the end of the day, the combined standings are where the money gets paid out, and Leipzig has mathematically finished that mountain. I guess he's conquered that, and we actually have Leipzig in with us tonight for the winners interview. Leipzig, how are you doing, bud?
Hey, good evening, guys. How you guys doing? I'm doing pretty good.
we're good.
Very good. Yeah, gonna get to see some racing tonight. I'm looking forward to that. And man, you must feel pretty decent. It has been a long journey for season two, and some ups and downs, and some great rivalries. How do you think about season two overall?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, coming from season one, which was also fairly nice, season two was just gonna be even better. Everybody's just getting faster and faster. Each quali, it's even harder. People are just setting some very nice one lap times, and it's getting more competitive at the top.
Yeah, that's true. The last few qualies, there's been a spate of names up at the top five that you don't normally see. But to be fair, Leipzig, I think it's very fair to say that you are the Goliath on field. There's no doubt about that. Whether you're qualifying on pole or sixth or seventh, you always seem to find a way to win. 8 out of 14 appearances in season 2.1, you managed to take victory, and that's well above 50%, and it's higher than anybody else on the grid right now. So the first question I have is, what is it that you believe, Lysa, that you're doing better than your competition right now?
I mean, based on what I've seen, because I watched the streams after the race and stuff, I just try to race a bit more consistent. I use a lot my delta times and lap times to kind of try to set a specific target one, which means I'm not pushing like a quali lap. I'm just trying to go at a constant pace without doing as much mistakes as the rest, pretty much.
Consistency. We harp on it all the time. It's pace is intellect, but consistency is wisdom, and man, does it
Exactly.
show in the race results there. So up at the top, the final score going into tonight's race, Leipzig, it's 528 combined points to Z Milk's 475, and I think arguably, especially lately, Z Milk has been that rival we always see you going up against. But in that mix, I would say Barney, Curveball, Reimer, they've all had great moments and great races with you. Are there any really standout moments between you and your rivals, or standout races? Like, what are your favorite moments from season two?
I mean, there's a couple to pick from. You have the Portugal Reimer strategy that his tires dropped at the last lap, and Zenut and myself almost catched him. That one was a nice race.
Yeah.
You have the Bahrain as well, which I did a pit stop at the end, lap 9 laps to go, 9 laps to go, I believe, and I managed to pass the rest on mediums. So that one felt as well pretty nice,
Yeah.
with the light safety car. You have the last couple laps with Curveball lately, which have been very tight as well.
Yeah, Curveball has been a very interesting late rival here at the end. It's been a lot of fun to watch you two fight.
Yeah, for sure. It's fun to
Yeah.
race those guys. I mean, it's always interesting.
So, besides those four, Z-Milk, Barney, Curveball, Reimer, those guys we always seem to be talking about up in the mix up at the front. Who do you have your eye on as a possible rival coming into season 3, besides those four?
I mean, you have some guys that have the pace, but just lack a bit of consistency. And I'm talking about, the Urbans, for example. You see Urban running at the tops most of the time, but then little slips, little spins bring him back down pretty much.
Yeah.
You have the Owas as well. Owas pretty fast as well. It's not that easy to pass. You have Pontiac as well. Obviously, you're gonna have the PT drivers coming up next season as well, which is gonna be interesting. There's a couple fast guys there as well.
There's some of these PT drivers you need to keep an eye on.
Speaking
sure.
of, you're going to be facing off against some of those top PT drivers tonight in tonight's season finale, Leisig. Any of those names kind of giving you a little shiver as they enter competition tonight?
Well, I mean, I've watched again the streams, and I've raced a couple Saturdays with them. They have the pace, Hayden guy, the Rujov, and even Komakopa. I mean, they have serious pace. Now it's all about just putting it together in actually a bit more faster drivers around them, right? Battling a bit more for every position, and we'll see how they deal with it, I guess.
Hey, Lysig, one more question. We've got a question from the stream for you, actually, from Gotham City Streams. He's asking, how do you prepare for race week, like practice and such, which I think is a good question.
Yeah, so normally what I do is the day before, I set up some time trials. I jump in, try to find a setup that fits me. As you've seen probably on some of the races, a lot of guys tend to run lower downforce, some others go with a bit higher. For me, I prefer just a more planted rear end, so I try to find that balance. And then I hop into Grand Prix, because time trial is not very specific for the race. You really want to see how the tires perform, how much they heat up. You want to write down as well strategy calls. So how long is the pit stop going to take you? How much time are you losing? How much, for example, fuel consumption there is. I tend to underfuel my car quite a bit, sometimes even by a lap and a half, because I know in that track you're going to gain it back. So there can be quite a bit that you can put into preparing for the race.
Wow.
A lot of little details to take into account. I mean, you have to. You got to take every tiny advantage to take win after win in a group of guys like this, for sure. So tell us, Lisa, we hear you're going to be making the switch from controller to actually driving with the wheel and pedals. How are you feeling about that?
Oh, I'm very excited. I have my rig ready. I'm just hesitating if I should buy the F122 or just wait for 23, but I'm excited. I'm probably going to start with some iRacing as well.
It won't be, you're not going to be debuting it tonight, is that right?
No, not tonight.
Okay, we're looking forward to that, and we're going to see if we can tell the difference. Honestly, I was shocked when I heard that you raced on controller, because normally when I'm watching people drive, I feel like I can tell, because it's kind of jerky drive inputs. You know what I mean? So, are you a neurosurgeon or a watchmaker or some other job where you're like very fine detail movements with your hands?
Not really. And the
So
worst is when you start to get into battles and you get nervous. It's so
yeah.
hard to drive with the joysticks when your hands are shaking. It's terrible.
I'm excited. I want to see how you fare with the wheel. I think the input's going to be awesome. Okay, so the big question, the one everybody wants to know, we're getting short on time, so I'll be quick here.
Yeah, no
What are
worries.
you going to spend your windfall $250 first prize on? Like, what is the first purchase you plan on making?
I mean, the thing is, I spent quite a bit on the rig I built, so probably it's just gonna go towards it, trying to see if I can make up for all the money I spent on it.
It's worth it. It's gonna
Yeah.
be worth it, no doubt. And so you should take the significant others out on dates to make up for all the money you spend on your habit.
100%.
Are you willing to make a prediction for season 3? Do you think we'll be having this same interview, the final race of season 3?
I mean, obviously, I have to be confident of myself, so I'm gonna say yes. But I do feel it's gonna be very tough. I mean, I know everybody says that at the start of the next season, but people are just getting very fast, and if people can
Yeah,
stay consistent, they will be up there.
yeah. Well, Lisa, we'll let you get out of here now, but I want to say, just on behalf of CCRL and the commentators too, get to watch you week in and week out. You show up, you've got professionalism, you've got racecraft, and it's a real enjoy to watch and something I think for the rest of the grid to look up to. Thanks
Well,
for
no.
joining us tonight, Lisa.
Thank you very much for both of you guys. I mean, it's amazing to sit down after the race, watch the commentary. It's super fun. You make it very enjoyable. So thank you very much as well
It's
from
so
everybody
cool.
as well.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks again, Lysik. We'll see you out in Brazil.
Thank you, PK. Get better.
Thanks, Lysig.
I hope you feel better of that COVID.
All right,
Yeah.
everyone. So that was Lysig, our not our 2.1 champ, but our overall season 2 champ. Our 2.1 champ still to be decided tonight, but we're getting ready to head into qualifying Dresden. So let's go ahead and jump in.
Let's head over. I'm ready to
Here
watch
we
it.
go. We are in Brazil tonight. A 2.67 mile track, sector 3 being the very fast speed trap at the end of that long straightaway. 15 turns here in Interlagos. Very, very quick track. Turn 1 where we're going to see a lot of passes into braking into that Senna S. And set up some different lines coming out of that turn, and then the race down to turns 4 and 5 where we can see some passing in Curva do Sol. Then we may see some passes into turn 6 and 7. There is a couple different braking lines you can take into those turns before you get into the twisty bits that lead on to that main straightaway. Once again tonight we have our middle range of Pirelli's compound tires, the C4, the C3, and the C2. The C2 being the hard tire. We probably will see some medium to hard strategies tonight. We are heading into qualifying Dresden, and I believe we got some guys headed out onto the track.
Yeah, first out, I thought I saw a Mercedes. I could have been wrong, though. It actually appears I was wrong. I don't see a Mercedes out there. 18 drivers on track. And man, I don't want to hype it too much, but I'm excited to see Hayden, NLC, Rujoff. And there was one more name. Is Coma on the field as well?
I think he was supposed to be here, yeah.
No, yeah, he is. Yeah, the McLarens have 2 pro tier drivers in them.
Wow.
So Rujoff we've seen in and around the elite tier. I don't think we've seen Coma. And Hayden's definitely where my curiosity is peaked. I do want to see how he stacks up tonight here.
So we've got full quali tonight. So we'll be losing 3 drivers here in Q1. So any prediction? I mean, I'm not going to take predictions on who's going to be at the bottom of the grid, but it's a toss up. I feel like tonight, Drez.
Yeah, Lysa kept hammering that point over and over again. They the grid gets faster every week, and like the progression just over season two has been enormous. And you would see like it was always Leisig, Z-Milk, Pole, Barney too would be in that mix, but lately the one lap times have been coming up so dramatically. The people winning the races are usually starting second, third, even fourth row
Yep,
sometimes.
yep, yep. The competition has tightened up, and even more so over the last, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 races. We've really seen it tighten up. So
Yeah.
could be anybody.
Could be anybody tonight. And Brazil, man, I'm hoping for good fights. I need a racing fix so bad. I can't even. Man, I was just like I kept checking my watch today, like, and then I found out it starts an hour early and it's 100% race. I was actually excited. Okay, just need some. I just need some battles. That's what
Oh
I
yeah,
need.
well we'll get some around Brazil. That's the one thing I feel like Brazil does well is lap after lap battles.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna see that. We'll see drivers tangling. We've got sometimes coming across the board. Curveball puts a 109, one on the board. Comacopa's 6/10 behind him. Hayden's getting some practice in on the intermediates. It looks like a 12-3 on the board.
So that's a good thermometer check from ET or elite tier to pro tier. There, curveball a 109.1 and 6/10 behind, just less than Comacopa.
Oh man, look at that! 6 thousandths between SP and curveball. Those are locked in times. Oh, as I say that, where
Rujoff.
the hell did that come from?
Wow, an angry walrus right behind Rujoff.
Immediate. So we can expect some rubbering in, I believe.
Yeah, track evolution
Man,
is pretty high here at Interlagos.
yeah, on a 108.5, Rujoff a very fast one lap time on the board. And Coma strikes me as going to be maybe in and around Pontiac Bandit in that kind of upper midfield. Got good consistency and pretty decent pace. But man, I expect Hayden to be fighting up with Z-Milk and Lysik, and I'm really interested to see if that's actually the case.
Yeah, I'm still just kind of blown away by that time from Rujoff. Angry Walrus, we know over one lap he's got the pace. So
Yeah.
wow, that's a great lap.
A banger lap, yeah. Let's see if we can get some because 6/10 that's too big of a gap, right? I want to see somebody else up in there. We've got a spade of times. It looks like 1:10.4 is about the back end. Bongit has a lap out there with mediums, but it looks to be practice as well. Let's find a lap to follow. Who's about to start a hot lap? Into the pits. There's an Alfa Romeo coming around
Barney?
the final turn. Barney. Yeah, I'd love
Into
to
the
catch a lap from.
pits.
No, he's into the pits as well. Yeah, so
Owa?
mid 109s for the Alfa Romeo.
He's on intermediates right now.
Is Owa hot? Oh, still practicing. Urban's coming across the line.
Yeah, on some soft. So this should be a relatively close time, I would think.
I want to add a new question. Like we always like, what's the skill curve? What's the signature curve? What's the most fun curve? And I think Brazil has got a very easy answer for most fun.
Oh, okay.
Curve.
Well, let's hear it. Because yours might be different.
Well, for me, there's only one right answer for most fun in Brazil, and it's turn 1, 2, and 3.
Oh no, I don't think that's a fun
The
turn at all.
S's.
That's one of the
no,
hardest
'cause you,
turns on the
you're
calendar to
hard.
get right, I feel like.
It's like this. You just, yeah, it's difficult for sure, but man, are you just diving into it, right? Like like it's definitely like the first turn on your favorite roller coaster. You know what I mean? Love it. And Urban was not hot after all. Into the pits. Got to be turn. So what's most fun here in Brazil for
Okay,
you?
not all time, just in Brazil.
Just Brazil.
Um, I really like turn 11 a lot. Turn 10, how it feeds in, and you kind of got to ride both curbs, the inside one to the outside one, and you're carrying so much speed.
Yes.
That's fun,
Oh man.
but it's not technical.
Uh, it's not. It's not. But turns don't have to be like my favorite turn in Mexico is it's the one right after the S's where you kind of that really fast right
Yeah.
hand turn just before the hairpin in the stadium. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, it's just a turn I enjoy taking. You know, because it's very fast and you just kind of like throw the car in there.
I think
Feels
my
good.
all-time favorite, I guess, for this current calendar would be turn 4 at Zandvoort.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's got to
I mean,
be.
yeah. I mean, who doesn't like the high bank? And
Yeah,
Zandivort's, I think, just a fun
it
track.
is.
Period.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. We missed a banger. The Zandvoort uh, Constructor Cup apparently was pretty good. Anyote takes fourth place
Oh.
with double points. And I've seen Z Milk drive Zandvoort. I believe he won. I'd have to double check, but I've seen Z Milk in Zandvoort, and he's really good there. And I think he took a win out of the Constructor Cup as well.
I'll have to go back and look at the results on that.
So Rujov's time still stands. Hayden has had an attempt at it. Walrus, SP, all very fast over one lap guys, and nobody has been able to touch Rujov's time. The 8.5 is the benchmark here in Brazil. And let's take a look at the bottom. 8 minutes left in Q1. We're still looking for times from Reimer, Owa, and Anyote. Let's get on board with Reimer. Action 16. He's coming around the final turn now. The turn that arguably is the most important in Brazil. You must get a good exit out of that final turn to carry speed all the way through the very long start finish straight, and Reimer across the board only manages a 10.9, which is oh yeah, he's on medium, so a mitigating factor there just a little bit, but that is currently the cutoff point, that 10.9.
Well, yeah, and he's on a set of mediums. He was probably hoping to be a little higher up, so he's going to have to throw on a set of softs to make sure he gets through to Q2, which I'm sure he was probably hoping to save a set back. But that's how tight our competition is
Yeah,
tonight.
yeah. Z Milk has a decent time in on the mediums, a 109.4, and that is probably safe looking at the times we're seeing now. But Reimer, Leisig, Bonget, they'll all be back out on softs, most likely. 6 minutes and 40 seconds remain in Q1. It's a full qualifying tonight. We're only going to lose 3 from Q1, though. And man, Leisig in the danger zone, right? Maybe relaxing on those laurels a bit too much at the moment. And man, somebody just went faster than, I think it's Bongit. Did Bongit just finish a lap?
Bonget's into the
No, someone
pits.
just finished.
Urban up in the ninth. Was that who just finished their lap?
It must have been Urban then. Yeah, 10.6 for Urban. The times in the nines are very, very clustered. from 4 all the way to 12th place, all within 109. That 1 second range there.
So Leisig looks like he's starting to lap on softs. We'll see what he can do here.
Yeah, this definitely in anger as he heads down to 4. Or turn 4. And man, what's the hardest turn?
Here in Brazil?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to say turn 1.
Turn 1
Or 2.
definitely.
Let's say 2, actually. Because you got to set yourself, you can't go all 4 wheels off, obviously, or you're deleted time or you're taking time penalties. But you got to shave just enough so that you're setting yourself up into turn 3 as well. So
Leisig has set a purple sector through sector 2, is coming around the final turn as we speak. 106, 107, 108 into the 108's a big improvement for Leisig. Good enough for 3rd place with a 108.8866. And so that puts Bongit, Anyote, and Reimer, which is a bit unexpected, in the danger zone at the moment. For me, it's 6 and 7. Right, you come around 4, and you're coming around 5 as you're speeding up to 6 and 7. It's kind of blind right-hand turn. It's very high speed, right? But you do need to bleed off a little bit of brake, or you need to bleed a little bit of speed off as you enter. You can't just take it full out. And I tend to be a little too conservative.
yeah, that's one thing I notice a lot in online lobbies. A lot is that everyone takes 6 and 7 way too conservatively, and that's where you can see some accidents happen. And we may see some tonight because you want to carry that speed into 8, where 8 is really your hard braking point. And we may see some overtakes in 7 as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're just following into turn 1, everyone is using the same braking point. But 6 and 7 is it's very setup dependent probably, and very style dependent, and just and nerve dependent. Right? Just how much steel do your nerves
And it's
have?
one of those turns.
And so following.
Yeah, it's 7's one of those turns where you can let the back end float a little bit. And what I mean when I say that is you can carry enough throttle through there that when you kind of start to feel that back end dancing around a little bit, you can just bleed off that throttle and it'll carry you through. Whereas some of the other turns, too much throttle and the back end is gonna beat you to the scene of the accident.
Yeah. Gonna get there first. Yeah, a slippery track, especially, let's see, 6, 7, 8, I think 9 is where I have the most trouble with spins, right? It's that long kind of U-turn where you just kind of keep the same pressure on the gas pedal all the way through. But I get impatient. About halfway through 9, I'm like, oh, I want to go a little faster, and I end up pushing it a little bit too much.
You're waiting and waiting and waiting to get on the throttle and kind of moving the car to the outside of the track as quick as you can so that you're not putting any more steering input in to destabilize that rear end. And we could see some guys go 180 there tonight, I'm betting.
So 1 minute and 30 seconds remain. If you're not on a hot lap, you need to be starting one immediately. I'm on board Action 16 on the Ferrari with Bongit as he attempts to pull himself out of the elimination zone. He's attempting this time on softs, but he needs to find 3/10 to get out in front of Owa, who is also on an out lap at the
he
moment.
just did a lap on those softs, and he's running out of battery for this lap. I don't know if he's going to make it out, Drez.
He's got traffic problems ahead of him as well. This lap is compromised. However, he did have a little bit of time shaved off through Sector 1. Sector 2 time will be coming up shortly. He's looking clean here in Sector 2. Bit of a missed apex around 10, I think. Coming into the final turn now.
Up 0.6, so that's enough to get him out of the bubble.
That's definitely. Well, we may see some evolution as people try to put in final laps here. Only 12 seconds remaining. Not that many cars across the field. Bong, it does get out of elimination. A 9-9, good enough for 14th place, pushing Owa down, who is now hot. So is Anyote and Reimer, so Hemphead needs to watch out. He's also hot. Let's see here. Let's get on board with Owa. I think he's going to be next to the line, followed by Anyote, as both Red Bulls are doing their qualifying laps at the moment.
And we're out of time in Q1, so if you're not on a fast lap at this point, it's too late.
It's looking good for Anyo. No, Owa cannot improve. Can Anyote find time? No, he's into the pits as well. So Owa 10-1 will not see qualifying 2. I'm on board with Hemphead. The last driver with a chance to get out of qualifying, and now Bongit needs to watch out because Hemphead has 4/10 in hand as he comes around Sector 2. He's got pedal to the metal coming across the line now. A 9.5, a good lap from Hemphead in the Williams. Good enough for 12th, and that ruins Bongit's Q1 result.
Yep, Bongit did just enough to kind of flirt with getting into Q2, but Hemphead will ruin his night, as it seems. Bongit, Owa, and Anyote are our first departures here in Q1.
So, interestingly enough, it's 2 Pro Tier drivers, or ex-Pro Tier drivers, at the top of the Q1 standings, and once again, Rujov's 8.5, a one-and-done attempt, and looking very, very strong here in Brazil.
Yeah, he set that time at the very start of the session, and then I think he got up to go get some nachos or cook some popcorn. We didn't see him back out on track. It's a great time, and I think some of these elite tier drivers may be looking at that pretty closely.
As a heads up, as we're heading to Q2, Rujov has come to make a statement, and Hayden a fast time with the 8.7, and there's Leisig in the Haas looking to take victory from the final race here in Season 2. Again, there's still some battle going on between him and Z-Milk. The 2.1 standings are, I think, 9 points apart or something like that.
Yep, nine points.
Close, aren't they? Yeah. In the combined standings, it's pretty set. I think it's Leisig mathematically set for 1. Z-Milk cannot be touched in 2, and I believe Curveball is pretty safe in 3rd place.
Yeah, I believe that all the positions,
well.
top 3 are set. So.
Yeah. So nothing to fight for other than pride, which, man, worth fighting for sure. But then I think we've got an interesting battle over 4th, and I think a tie for the 10th place between, I want to say, Shashir and Antonium. Is Antonium here tonight?
I have not seen Antonium.
Oh, Shashir's not here either. Never mind. So the 117 affair between the two of them will remain 117 even. I suppose. So, Hemphead. So, Reimer's time coming out of Q1 was a bit slower than you would have thought for the Mercedes.
Yep. And I didn't see it. He had to have gone back out on soft tires. So I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll see. Q2.
yeah. I think he
I'm
did.
sure we'll see some of these guys turn it up for Q2.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. He may have been just thinking it was going to be easy to get through Q1, but man, I don't think it is anymore. I really don't. It's a strong field at the moment. Yeah. Yeah, it's good. Season two just so many good moments, you know. And I mentioned this. I'd love to start putting a poll up, right, where everyone can just rank a race and at the end of it, and we can like we do for driver of the day.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we can keep an archive of like if this was a you know a 10 out of 10 banger race and or if it was like Miami, the last Miami we watched,
Yeah.
which which was not a banger. We'll just put it that way.
You talking about the real one or the one we broadcasted?
No. The real one I thought was fairly decent.
Yeah.
It had some moments I really enjoyed. Ah, not your favorite, but I thought there was some intriguing stuff. Like I forget who it was, but there was like some you were waiting for the result until the end of the race, you know. But the one we broadcasted was a rough one. It was a carnage
That's right.
night.
There was like 7 safety cars or something.
Yeah. NLC's across the line with a 9.5, and I think that's going to be in the danger zone. Man, the late nines have got to be the cutoff to get into Q1.
Yeah, from the times we saw
So
in Q1, yeah, I would say 109.4 probably is going to be the cutoff.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good guess. Let's find someone you want to take a lap with.
Who do we have coming through in the Aston? Is that Hayden? Hayden coming? Nah, he's done.
9.3 Rujov again, a very fast time, an 8.6. That time is solidly locked in, and it is very fast compared to the field. I think Rujov found some extra practice time this week.
How about Barney?
Because man, that is going to be tough. Yeah, we have not seen much from Barney.
All right, Barney coming across the line here. No, he's not. Every time these guys, they get us.
Psych
Yeah.
you out. Yeah. Let's see here. Who's still on track? I think, we got a spate. So Hemphead's done. I think everybody's done the lap. There's a McLaren coming into the pits. Who else? There's another Aston coming around the final turn.
We got a slow-moving Alpha Tauri, maybe.
Yeah, it's curveballs. I think it may be the back end's flashing. There he goes. So the speed's picking up now. Yeah, so the first round of lap times are in, and man, Rujov's time, when it comes in that consistently, right, when it's one and done and it's the same time over and over again, that's when I start, like, my spider sense for a win starts tingling. You know what I mean?
Yep. Spidey sense is going off.
Watch out. Yeah, you watch out for Rujov tonight. Looks nailed down.
All right.
Feeney's fast with a 9.3 as well.
So curveball's charged up, and he is about to head across the line here.
All right, let's take a lap ride with
All right, let's
trackside
do it.
in Brazil.
Into turn 1 and through turn 2, the Senna S. Then we're into turn 3, Curva de Sol, and it's DRS open as we charge down towards turn 4, Descida del Lago. We've seen so many passes here, and then it's flat out through turn 5 and up into turn 6, Ferradura. Slowly coming off the throttle there, taking some alternate lines right in the curve out as far as you can, and then cutting that apex into 8. We go swinging around through 9 and swinging out wide. It's heavy on the throttle down into 10, and then you're fighting for traction as you come out of 10. 11, you're still on the throttle and heavy braking into Juncal, turn 12, and then you want to get a great exit here because it's the longest straight or semi-straight on the track as you go through 13. DRS opens and into the pits. It would have been a great lap. A little bit dicey at parts,
He let
but
you down a little bit. Would have been decent, but he's trying to improve an 8.7. He's currently in second, and man, did he need every ounce of speed in order to challenge that Rujov time. We got a lot of 9.3s on the board. Feeney, Walrus, Hayden, SP, all right in there, the 9.3 range. And man, in the elimination zone at the moment, 9.8 elimination. It's Shiesty, Hemphead, Z-Milk, Reimer, and Barney. 3 of your top contenders have not put times on the board yet. Z-Milk is coming to the line now, looking good with an 8.7 and good enough for the second row behind Curveball. Man, with just nothing in between all of them. And there's NLC Racing now, ready to challenge Rujov, sitting in provisional pole. NLC an 8.5, Rujov an 8.6. We're gonna be treated.
Reimer
to
going
a
purple
really
in the
good
final
race
sectors.
tonight.
He's about to cross the line, Drez. Oh.
Okay. And man, what is he, a 10.1? That seems a bit slow.
So he
He's
did that
gonna
on
need to find some
mediums.
extra time.
He's going to have to throw on a set of hards to get through to Q3, or a set of softs, I should say, to get to Q3.
Yeah, it's absolutely. So a 10.1 on mediums is pretty decent, and given the way times are, I think you can give up on the idea that you can make it through on mediums. I mean, look at this, Leipzig. So we said late 9s, but it looks like it's going to be mid 9s. Copa is in the elimination zone with a 9.4. It's a really decent time, but it's just not good enough right now. 5 minutes remain.
Yep, we said at
Q2.
the start of Q2, 109.4 is going to be the cutoff, and that's almost exactly what it is right now. Only about 4 thousandths to that time, and it's really, if you look at the times, less than 2 seconds covers the top 15. So I can't remember the last time we've seen that.
Yeah, no, it is a stacked field tonight, and man, you need, like, if we're gonna watch a 100% race, you need really narrow time ranges in qualifying to tell you that the 100% race is going to be a thing, that you're gonna be like entertained the entire race, because 3/10 is a big deal. It's not so big a deal in 50%, but it's a big deal in a 100% race. And man, there's no 3/10 gaps anywhere. You know, it is less than a tenth.
Yeah, our biggest gap is 5 to 6, and that's exactly 4/10.
Yeah, that's pretty wild, actually. So 4 minutes remain. It's Coma, Leisig, Urban, Hemphead, and Reimer in the elimination zone. Let's get on board Action 12. Leisig is running hot at the moment, and our championship points leader needs to find a way into Q3. It's coming up to 6 and 7, just lifting and just the tiniest tap on the accelerator. Good exit as we head into 8 now. 9, where I think we're going to see a few spins, is attacked really well. Gets to the outside for 8. A good exit there. He's this lap feeling very good. Sector 2 time coming up now. He's 5/10 to the good. More than enough to secure a berth into Q3.
Nope. I was just going to say we got Lysa getting ready to come across the line here. Only improves up to 7th.
Yeah, but that 8.8 probably going to be safe, you would think. Because it's 8.8 and then 9.3 is the current cutoff held by Walrus. Man, Walrus SP on the bubble, struggling to get into Q3. You would think everybody is going to be out and hot. Let's see who's next across the line. Feeney, man, look at Feeney's time. So Feeney, NLC Racing, Rujoff, and Hayden. It's all new names here in Brazil, battling over pole.
And SP getting ready to start a hot lap. It looks like nope. Only improves up to 11th.
Man, so 9.366, not good enough right now, and I don't think he'll be able to get around.
I think he's just doing it now and trying to go back to back to see if he can improve.
Still has half a battery. I'm on board with SP2. I'd be surprised if he can't find.
He's gone purple sector 1. We'll see what his delta is coming out of sector 2 here in just a few corners.
I'm really impressed with traffic. You see traffic and you hold your breath a little bit, but everybody able to find their way off the racing line just in time.
Oh, purple through sector 2, 7/10 down.
Through Juncal. 7, wow. SP will not go silently into the night. He's ready for Q1 across the line into second place. What a big improvement.
That is right, clutch like freaking Kobe Bryant right there. That was a great lap.
So Komakopa has a lap, but he's 4/10 not improving. Rujoff is also hot. He's now heading into the pits now as well. Let's
Walrus.
find somebody in the elimination zone.
He's getting ready to start a lap now. Yep.
Or about to start a hot lap. Walrus has timed it near perfectly because he will start his hot lap with almost no time.
And we'll be able to see both Mercedes in front of him, see if they're able to improve as well.
Yeah, Urban and Reimer need to find a fair amount of time. Walrus in through turn 1 looks good. Maybe the turn into turn 2 a bit early. Sector 1 time coming up now. Dead even with his other time, but he'll need to.
So one of those marks diving out of the way. I'm not sure if that was Urban or Reimer.
Let me see. I think it was Urban. Reimer, I believe, is just ahead. Still on board with Walrus's Aston Martin. A very late breaking line through 9. It felt like Comes into the final turn, still 2/10 down, and that's, man, just barely on the line to challenge Barney's 10th place. It's a 9.1. It's going to be very, very close for Walrus. 8, now 9, dead even 9. He does manage to get in just by the skin of his teeth. Walrus finds a way into Q1 on that final lap.
Yeah, I mean, we saw quite a bit of improvement in this session.
Man, yeah, the rubbering in, you were absolutely right about that. Rujov did manage to grab pole for Q2 as well at an 8.2. Rujov, he definitely is going to be the man to beat here tonight if he brings any consistency. What a clutch lap from Walrus. Manages to grab that 10th place position with a 9 flat. Honestly, I was thinking 9.6, 9.7 was going to be the cutoff. And you said 9.4, but no.
Yeah, we were nowhere close. These guys found a lot of time in that session, and I believe we might see ourselves in the 107s maybe by the end of Q3.
I want fingers crossed. I want to see a 1-0. Let's grab a lap with Rujov. I just want to witness how locked in he is. We do lose Barney, Reimer, Hemphead, Comacopa, and just one more. Let me scroll down here. It's Urban as well. Both Mercedes are out, and Barney and Reimer just barely missing 2/10. Covers both of them, and man, you look at these times, and yeah, it makes sense. There's some really strong times on the board.
Wow, not Barney and Reimer, not a couple of guys you would think we would have lost in Q2.
Yeah, no, you definitely, like, I don't think you can get by. I think you have to be you need to set an hour aside, to really get good practice in. Because people are coming to win these things now, it looks like. So Q3 shows Z-Milk, Shiesty, Rujoff, Lysig, Curveball, Walrus, NLC Racing, Feeney, SP, and Hayden. Shiesty managing a Q3 appearance. I think that's pretty dang good.
So we got some cars coming out on track, but we're just going to stay on board with Rujoff. He's been setting the quick time right out of the box, so...
Yeah,
here he comes.
Want to catch his hot lap, I think. Man, there's no way this is not a good race. It's Brazil. These times are ridiculously good. There's, like, I think some gray clouds in the sky. Like, I think this could be a
what's our forecast for weather, I wonder?
I don't know, but do I want it? Man, I don't know. Because rain in Brazil is very much like it's very neutralizing, right? You end up with a tension race rather than an action race, right? And you can get some exciting stuff during the changeover, but once rain hits in Brazil, you kind of just waiting for somebody to make mistakes, and it's lot. Right, yeah, in fact, I'm gonna say it. I don't want to see rain tonight. I'm sure of it. Look, Shiesty, man, Rujov. So Rujov's coming around the final corner now.
We got an update from Urban in the chat. Lap. Forecast is dry.
And the McLaren too. Forecast is dry. Excellent. So Rujov heading into turn 1 now. Just gonna enjoy.
Yeah, and if you're at home, keep an eye down there at the bottom of the screen. You'll see that green bar right below the mile per hour and the red bar. That's his brake and throttle inputs. We may see some tricky things going on as we go into sector 2 with those.
just barely touching. We talked about being overly conservative through 6 and 7, and there was just almost no brake applied on the McLaren. Yeah, very solid. Hayden puts an 8.8 on the board, but man, I wonder if that was good enough for 10th place when we're all said and done. There's Leisig with a fast time on the board, an 8.2. That may be the fastest time we've seen. Rujov coming to the line now, a 7 and 8. He manages an 8.5. And man, Leisig and Zemo, look at this, right? Holding something back for Q3, bringing their A game, throwing an 8.2 and an 8.4 currently. They hold provisional front line.
Yeah, 108.2.
Doesn't seem surprising.
That's what we saw Rujov do in Q2, so we know he's capable of that, and those times are going to drop, I think.
Yeah. So Rujov manages an 8.5. He's on the second row at the moment, and that is a fast time. None of the times on the board are in the 9s at all. It's all managing sub 1.8. Man, very, very fast times on the board. Do you think Leisig takes victory tonight? I think it's going to be tough.
I don't know.
Right, to close
I
out
could
the
see
season.
one of these pro tier guys maybe stealing the limelight tonight a little bit.
Like I said, it looks like Rujov came to do just that, right? Like, look, I'm a pro tier, but you know where I belong.
Yeah, lots of that in the chat before the
Kind
race,
of a
that's for
statement.
sure.
Oh, yeah. Always good action, and I mentioned this before, but man, I just need a good race.
Yeah, I think we're in for a treat
been,
tonight.
It's been a little too long. Yeah. I wanted to catch a lap from Shiesty, who we don't feature nearly enough, but this lap is eliminated. Walrus is to the line now, an 8.8, good enough for 7th place. The Walrus finding a little extra time.
Oh, we got NLC coming out for a fresh lap, and he's spun the rear end, leaving the pits.
Oh yeah, and trying to get out of the way as a Ferrari squeaks by.
That's a good way to kind of throw your confidence off as you're.
Oh. Yeah. And the FIA awards him disqualification. So we won't get to find out where NLC will stack up in terms of Q3 times.
Heavens to Betsy.
Man. Right. They just don't brook any messing around when it comes to pit lane stuff. I'm Action 2 on board with Z-Milk's Ferrari. Because I want to, you know what I want, right? I want to see Z-Milk topple Leisig's time here as time starts to run out here in Q3. So Ferrari is hot. And Z-Milk taking a little bit of a different strategy, preferring, I think, the clean track rather than the rubbered end at the end of qualifying. And man, a very, very tight line around 3. Races down to 4, has nearly half a tenth in hand through Sector 1.
He's going to need more than that if he's going to get ahead of Leisig.
Needs nearly exactly 2/10. Riding a lot of curve around 8. And feeling very good on the acceleration as well out of 9. Into Junkai we go. A purple sector 2 from the Ferrari. Just Zemo taking very tight lines everywhere. 107, 108, 2.68. Man.
You can't slip a
Nothing.
freaking deplied piece of toilet paper through that time. I mean, that is thin margins.
The cheap.
Yeah, I'm talking Dwight Schrute
cheap
unrolled this
paper.
toilet paper and took the plies apart. That's how thin it is.
Oh man, Rujov now will start a hot lap. Let's ride on board with him. Action 3. So you got to think Rujov takes a step forward here. It's as rubbered in as it can possibly be. Rujov has been as locked in as you could possibly be. Has already set an 8.2 and is 2/10 down nearly in Sector 1. Watch
This
out.
might be
this
it.
could be
I'm
our
hoping for it.
107 lap. Fingers crossed. Good through 6 and 7. Man, I think he's still in
That's
there.
as close as you could
elimination
get
well.
to disqualifying a lap without actually doing it.
Yeah. I think maybe just the side pad was still over the line because all 4 wheels were off. A purple sector 2 as he comes around the final turn. He's going full beans. DRS is open. 104, 105, 106 as we come to the line. It's a 107.9. And Rujov grabs pole position with time nearly expiring.
107, baby.
What a nice lap. Yeah, 3/10, and man, delivered when he needed it. And 3/10 faster than the rest
That's a
of the
pro
field.
tier guy. They have showed up tonight.
That's a good one. Not pro. Yeah, pro tier representing itself well. So it's going to be Rujov in pole. Is there anyone who can answer? Leipzig is hot and coming around the final.
Hayden on softs as well. He is warming up there around turn 12, getting ready to come around for a hot lap as well.
Okay, so I'm action 2. Can Leipzig, championship points leader, respond immediately? And I believe that's Curveball just riding the slipstream.
Yeah, and that's going to help him through section 3, but it's going to really hurt him here in the middle sector.
Yeah, the dirty air in sector 2 probably slowed him down a bit. Walrus manages an 8.3, Curveball an 8.4. The time's just so clustered up at the front. It's pretty wild.
1 second covering the field right now, but a lot of action in the top 5.
So Leipzig has nearly 3/10 in hand. He's right on the cusp of stealing pole back. To the line goes Leipzig in the Haas 5, 6. There's a 7 and an 8 flat. Does not hold on to enough time to steal pole back.
Disqualifying is the closest I've ever seen. This is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very, very tight. I think we're done as well. SP is retired. Z-Milk's eliminated. Walrus is not hot at the moment. Curveball Feeney in the pits, and we've got checkered flags everywhere else. That's done. Qualifying in Brazil.
If this is even
exciting.
If this is even just a taste of what we're going to get for the next what is it, 62 laps or something? Is it? It's a shorter
I
track,
think it's
yeah.
in the 70s in Brazil.
Yeah, there's not going to be
And
a
it's a
single lap
very
you'll want to
short track,
miss. That's
yeah.
for sure.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. Man, it's so exciting, and you know what? I'm excited too. Like the 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 upcoming each season, we're going to be losing more and more assists, and man, I think as that happens, we're gonna see much more like creativity start to express itself. I'm just looking forward to the future of CCRL. It seems to be
Oh
getting
yeah,
better
absolutely.
every
Yep.
race, doesn't it?
I'm excited to be growing with the league. That's for
Exciting
sure.
stuff.
So
Yeah, fun stuff. So Rujoff in a McLaren, by the way, takes pole position with the only 107 offered. Leisig will line up alongside him. He's half a tenth back. SP and Z-Milk are on the second row. It's Walrus and Curveball in the third row. Feeney lines up alongside Hayden's Aston Martin in the fourth row, and it's Shiesty alongside the disqualified NLC. That brings up your fifth row, and man, I'm ready for the race.
yeah, I am too.
Ready
Hey, have
for the
I told
race.
you that story about how my wife likes to keep it 55 degrees in this house? It
No,
could be.
you have. It's probably
So
why
hey,
you had the
what
flu.
we're gonna do is we're just gonna take a quick 30 seconds. We're gonna pay the bills with a sponsor ad, and I'm gonna throw a hoodie on. So we will be right back to start this race, folks. Stay with us.
Hello, race fans. Welcome back. It's CCRL in Brazil. It's the final race of season two, and it has been such a good season. And it looks like, according to qualifying, it looks like we are just going to be in for a treat of a race. Very, very competitive times across the board, and some surprising names in pole, and just quality times all the
So I
way
got an
down the
update,
field.
Drez. I noticed that when Hayden was out on his final lap,
Mm.
something happened. He was a little slow. Apparently, he was 8 tenths up on his on one of his high times, and ran out of fuel.
Ah, well, maybe
Yeah,
that explains the
running
8/10
light.
a little bit. No, yeah, running very light. That's funny. Yeah, it's disheartening being myself. I do not have the racer's physique. If you like, I will not just because I'm too old and I haven't been driving carts since I was 3 years old, right? But also because It's 6'2", 260 pounds. I think a little too heavy. When every 10 pounds is
Yeah,
like a
not
tenth
maybe
of a
not the
second.
sport for you.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. We'll have to contend unless they had weight classes for drivers. I think that would be a nice thing,
Yeah,
right?
I'd be
Like
down
they
for
could
that.
have like a chubby guys. Uh, yeah, I'd watch that. You can only you can only race in this league if you're over 250 pounds,
Momentum
right?
is your best friend.
It's funny.
So we got
Yeah,
Fuzzwad. I think he's
yeah,
got a new
momentum.
name tonight. Fuzzwad's Place. He's asking where have I heard that theme before? Yeah, it's a dubstep
Hey.
F1 intro theme we got in that commercial. So you've picked up on the theme. That's what we're here for. Is some Formula One and Rujoff leading us off on this formation lap, Drez.
Yeah, and again in the McLaren, let's go McLaren. Rujoff we said it during qualifying, looked nailed down. His Q1, Q2 were one and done affairs, I think, and then the only sub 107 put in right when he needed it. A very good qualifying performance from Rujoff. But he needs to have a good race performance though if he's going to
Yeah, and that's
beat
something we
Leipzig.
haven't really seen from him in
Because
the pro tier because we don't see that challenge at the front. We've seen guys typically get to a lead and they're out there by themselves. So how's he going to deal with that pressure as it comes from behind?
yeah, this is a situation Leipzig very familiar with, right? He's very much proven up at the front, battling Z-Milk, battling Barney, battling Reimer, always in the mix up at the front, no matter who the current this week rival is. It's always somebody and Leipzig, right? So very much a familiar position for him to be in. But man, the way those times came in, I honestly, I'd, I'd be willing to
So
bet
top
on Rujov this evening.
top 8 already
Leipzig
formed up.
definitely
We've
gonna
got some
have to work for
stragglers
it.
coming to the back of the grid, but real quick, want to touch on tire strategies before we get going. Lots of the field is split in half on mediums and softs. One man alone on the hards, and that's Angry Walrus, looking to go quite a distance before he changes those out.
Okay, so it is the final race of season 2. It's been such a great season, and I think we're in for a very nice treat of a race. We're going to take it from Walrus on the start here. It is 1, 2, 3 here. We go! And off the line in Brazil, CCRL takes off, and it's a very good start from Curveball. He's up 1, and Leising looks to be ahead into turn 1. Rujov, though, battling back around turn 2. It's going to be into turn 3 that they're fighting. There's a wheel banging between the Aston Martins. Hayden and Walrus
And we've
briefly
got a
pushing each other
stranded,
around in
what
7th
is
and
that,
8th
an
place.
Alpine of Feeney back in turn 3, it looks like.
And that brings out the virtual safety car. Leisig did manage to grab first place away from Rujov and already making his presence known up at the front. Z-Milk also up 1. I believe he was in 4th.
Yeah,
Let's
NLC
get
making a huge jump, starting
position
10th. He's
stuff.
already up to 6th. And now Rujov being overtaken by SP. What's happening with Rujov?
Yeah, I think a wonky restart in the McLaren. No, he's falling back even further. into no, and there goes Walrus around as well. Rujov just very slow on this restart. Oh, we've got problems up at the front. Williams is spun
Lots of
around. NLC
chaos,
is
and we've
off the
got a
track
Mercedes in the pits as well.
and
Oh,
diving into the pits.
and NLC he's crashed going into the pits even.
Now that's unfortunate. Leipzig and SP are now battling up in front place, and Rujov now down 6. I think just, oh, and there it is. It's a missing end plate. And I don't think he's realized it yet as he's gone very deep through 4. The front wing not giving him enough braking. He certainly realizes it now, that's for sure. Is the McLaren
Man,
all
what a
over the track.
letdown for Rujov now. Already down 11 places from where he started this Grand Prix.
Yeah, that's rough, and you said it. He's got to deal with the strain of battling really fast guys. So lap 2, it looks like we've settled down a little bit, and Hayden is up 4 on the start. A very good start from him. Bonget is up 9. The Ferrari just
Bonget really moving there. Hayden as well. He's up 4 spots, sitting in 4th position right now.
Oh man, so we need to go action 2 because Leipzig and SP are battling over first place. SP just made the pass.
Tire offset. So SP on the softs
Let's
and Leipzig on the mediums.
Yeah, so understandable now. SP now needs to be building a gap on those softs. And this fight actually leaving Z-Milk back a ways. The 1.8 and falling away is Z-Milk, but curiously, it's Hayden and Walrus. They're falling back. Oh, I'm on leader, but they're still falling back a fair amount.
Yep, we've Z-Milk's pouring the coal on right now as we speak. He set the fastest lap, and he's going to try and get within DRS now. Yep, looks like he is. So he's going to start to catch up to Leipzig.
Okay, so man, a pretty familiar battle up at the front, and it does include SP on the softer tires. At the moment, Shiesty is having a pretty decent start. He's on the back of Walrus. Other fights, Barney and Reimer have done well on this start. Let's get position change. Man, a lot of shuffling around, and Rujov is gonna need, I think, a safety car to get back into this fight. Let's find a battle to watch. I think let's head down maybe.
And we're actually
on Reimer for a bit.
We've got a replay.
Oh, thank you. By the way, guys, listen. I love these replays. They just make me feel so good, especially when I do the rewatch. So, to anybody supplying the clips, thank you so much for the time you take to do that. Barney is, man, just thinking about getting around Reimer into turn 1. I think he's got the pace, and he definitely has softs on. So Barney gonna be looking to squeeze by Reimer.
So we'll take a quick second here and look and see what's happened to Feeney in that turn 1 incident. We'll see as they get going here. He's going to rush down into turn 1. He's actually got quite a good release off the line trying to get past Angry Walrus. Gets a pass in on the outside, and then we see a little bit of wheel banging here, and it's going to come in hard, and he is just going to get shoved right into lost that front left, and then right into the barrier there. So, unfortunately, not a great day for Feeney.
It's rough too because, man, Feeney had a really great a really great qualifying performance. So, you know, he's locked in for the very long 71 laps and only gets to do half of one. You know, that doesn't feel good. Action 2 is Leipzig is thinking about ascend into 4, but no, will follow SP. So man, like Leipzig's race pace is kind of lights out already. SP can't build a gap even though he's on softs, and Z-Milk's 1.4 behind. With a Hayden just slowly eking up behind the Ferrari there, so keep an eye on that. I think Leipzig gonna get a pass.
It's looking like that. I'm not sure
SP.
what the we're in a full race here, so those softs should be good for, I would think, 15 to 20 laps, Drez.
Yeah, but out of Junkao, a much better exit from the Haas driver. He will definitely be ahead. There's nothing SP can do to defend here. Will he send back? No, is forced to follow, and Z-Milk must have had a great lap, or these two are slowing each other down, because now the Ferrari back in touch with the battle for first place. Let's go action 16. Rujov making his way back through the field.
Yep, Rujov's already got a stop done due to that damage, so he's got a little bit of work to do. He's on the hards, so he can go a long way and maybe benefit from a safety car down the road.
Yeah, we'll need a safety car probably to get back into it. And actually a little bit of a rough exit around 3, but still that's definitely going to be good enough, able to pass the Mercedes into 4. Rujov will be recovering for a while though. Let's go action 3. Leipzig has made it around SP, and now Z-Milk will take a turn to get past the ailing Alpine. It's got to be tires. It's slipping back. Big chunks.
Yeah, SP had the pace to get in front of Leipzig out on the restart, but has really kind of tapered off over the past couple of laps. Just doesn't have the pace to keep up with those two guys.
Yeah, and you'd be surprised that there's not that
very
much
little
DEG in Brazil. Is that right? So yeah, and I'm just a little surprised to see SP falling away as quick as he is. Z-Milk did need to take a pretty aggressive defensive line into 4, and that cost him some time to Leipzig ahead, but does consolidate the place through the sector 2, which is what you expect from the high downforce Ferrari. Other battles, let's go curveball action 10. Curveball chases Barney, who chases Reimer, and he's got Hemphead behind within DRS. We've got a 4 deep DRS.
Yeah, and curveball's got DRS here. We might see some spicy fireworks down into turn 1.
Takes the outside line. He's trying to keep the foot in. Fights back around 2 and forces the Alfa Romeo back. It will follow into 4. And I think the AlphaTauri's got the exit he needed. Barney not going to be able to fight back here. Though there is a harvesting lights flashing ahead of him. So curveball going to have to
and
hang
that
on.
middle section is a great place to harvest because you really can kind of keep your ERS store up throughout a lap here if you deplete it at the end of sector 3, beginning of sector 1, and then you're harvesting throughout the lap where no one can pass. You can keep a good level on your battery that way.
Yeah, pretty tough through sector 2. You really need to follow there. Let's go action 4 now, as Hayden has found his way up into the battle for podium positions. SP has fallen away from Z-Milk. He's outside of DRS
Yep,
range,
and
but Hayden
SP
is
doesn't
only on
have that
second line.
DRS in front of him to aid in defense, so Hayden could have a field day once they get onto the straightaway.
Yeah, SP's race pace just struggling a little bit, it does appear, and Hayden looking like he is gonna be lining up a pass, I think, into turn one. He's very tucked underneath the Alpine. Just a fair amount of fights. There's a lot of places to look right now. I believe this Hayden pass is gonna be next on offer. But Bongit is fighting with Shiesty. You've got Curveball, Barney, Hemphead. They're still fighting with Reimer as well. A couple of bunched up packs. As we head down to turn one, Hayden looking for a sin, does throw it in and is alongside through turn one, but still ahead. SP able to fight back around two. As we head around three, though, Hayden very much where he needs to be. Taking an inside line is SP, but will be ahead. The Aston Martin got a good launch.
SP going super
Ahead
wide
before
through
four.
four there just to kind of hang on to the back of that Aston Martin.